Welcome back. Well, Nvidia reported results after the close of trading yesterday. It was yesterday afternoon, not late last night, as I said just a moment ago. The numbers included big gains and beats that investors have become accustomed to with this company. Revenue soared by 94% from a year earlier to $35.1 billion US, and earnings per share totaled 81 cents. Both of those figures were well ahead of analyst expectations. Nvidia's forecast for sales growth in the current quarter also exceeded the median expectation, but it fell short of the highest estimates on Wall Street, and that has been enough to dampen somewhat the stock in pre-market trading. There you see it, up by nearly 2%, has been down earlier in pre-market trading by about 2% as well. So sentiment is shifting on this stock. Let's talk about it with somebody who's followed the stock for a long time. Ivana Delevska is founder and chief executive officer of Spear Invest, and Ivana joins us right now. Ivana, good morning, and thank you for being with us here on our top story. What's your take on these earnings? This company, of course, investors have become accustomed to seeing very big numbers and very big growth numbers from Nvidia. This looks like a case of investors being difficult to please when it comes to Nvidia's forecast for the current fourth quarter.
Well, thanks for having me, Paul. You're spot on in that the guide was a slight disappointment. However, the company did reiterate that their new chip, Blackwell, is on track. And there were some earlier reports where people were concerned that there were some overheating issues and they're not going to be able to bring this product to market. So alleviating those concerns, I think, is positive for the stock. If you look at the guide, it actually screens very conservative because on one hand, they're saying that they're going to be able to grow Hopper, which was the 3Q number of 25 billion, of 35 billion, and then on top of that add several $billion of Blackwell. So that really doesn't quite add to 37.5, which is why there were a lot of questions on the call about the guide being conservative.
Earlier, the company's chief executive officer has referred to demand for Blackwell, the new chips, as insane. That was his word. Did he set expectations too high when he used that word?
Well, Paul, interestingly, we did a lot of channel checks over the summer and over the past quarter on Blackwell demand, and it is actually insane. So we are hearing customers, while previously would have been ordering 10, 20, 30,000 units. Now they're ordering over 100,000 units. So we have no concern about the demand side here. It really is going to be all about the supply side and how much they can deliver each quarter.
We get a lot of calls on our market call program about this stock, as you can imagine. The question almost always is it too late to buy Nvidia? Have I missed the rally? What is your view on the current valuation of this stock?
Well, Paul, if you look at the current valuation, we look at EV/EBITDA, but you can look at any sort of earnings multiple. It actually screens right in the middle of historical ranges. So it is really not expensive. It's really the question going to be here whether they're going to be able to maintain that growth in earnings, which is where we think the upside is going to come from. And as I said before, the demand for Blackwell is surprising to the upside. So I think there is further upside to the numbers, and that's how you're going to deliver upside in the stock. I would say that there are a lot of other opportunities beyond Nvidia that we're seeing right now where their second derivative plays on AI. So we've installed the hardware, but we've really not seen a lot of upside on the software side, and we're just starting to see that. So we see opportunities across the board here, and we disclose our holdings on our website.
What are some of the names that would fall into that category that you've just outlined?
Well, Snowflake is one of them, Paul. They just reported earnings this last night as well, and the earnings were actually pretty strong. And the company has had some issues over the past several months with product introduction, and they went through a management change, but they finally seem to be getting their act together. And we see a lot of upside going into next year.
And we're just showing viewers the pre-market action on Snowflake. The stock is up by a remarkable 25%. What is it that investors are so excited about in the most recent Snowflake earnings?
Well, Paul, they've been surprising to the downside for several quarters now, and we're finally seeing momentum pick up of their new products. So not only that they were able to grow 29% in the current quarter in terms of product revenue growth, but as we look into 25, they indicated that they have few customers with workloads that are just scaling up into next year. So we think that basically in the software space, what's been going on is due to the weak macro, companies haven't been able to deliver much better than 20-25% growth. But now as things are stabilizing, we are seeing some pickup on the fundamental side. So this is the case with Snowflake. We saw the same thing with Shopify 2 weeks ago, where the company really started putting a path together towards high 20s growth, which is a completely different ballgame.
We've had 2 consecutive years of very strong growth in the technology market as measured by the NASDAQ Composite Index. Can that continue in 2025? And if so, where does the leadership come from in tech?
Well, Paul, what we've seen so far is really strong numbers for tech, but really all coming in terms of performance from the mega cap stocks and some of the hardware names. We haven't really seen a broadening of this into software and application. So we think the next layer here is going to be software and application. We still see a lot of upside in hardware, areas such as networking, areas such as power generation. They're going to see a big cycle ahead, but we do see some broadening as well into software and some other areas of AI.